we have Drew Gamet. And Drew, I think you can unmute yourself and you can share your screen also if you'd like to. Do you have slides?
No, I don't.
Okay, no worries then. I'll just leave this up. Is that your correct email address?
It will be as of Friday.
Okay, Friday. And how about the name of your school as of Friday? Is that right?
It's actually La Costa, L-A and then C-O-S-T-A.
I'm sorry, it's actually, tell me what?
La Costa Adult Education.
L-A-C-O-S-T-A with a capital C?
Yeah, with a capital C.
Okay, adult education?
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay, I'll change it. I wasn't sure. So anyway, Drew has a great idea. He wants to talk to you about it. So Drew, please go ahead.
Yeah, so hello everyone. So my name is Drew Gamet. I am, as of this moment, with the Redondo Beach Unified School District at the South Bay Adult School. And I'm heading up north on Friday. So if you look, I've got a bunch of boxes and stuff behind me because I'm moving. So, but I had this idea. So many of you might know Dina Matheson, who is also from our agency, who does some really great stuff with civics as well. And we've been working on trying to flesh out a series of co-ops that are specific for supporting the K-12 success program. And we'd like to get a work group together because there's a couple of pieces that we'd like to dial in with the civics that we're using. So we'd like to try and we have identified 6 different civics that would be appropriate for supporting a program like this. But it occurred to us that on top of putting together co-ops that would be multi-level so that we could make sure that there was that the levels are appropriate for our different level English learners. It also dawned on us that we should probably have it such that we have those civics also sort of oriented or at least posted on the exchange so that they could be easily adapted for an elementary group of parents, a middle school group of parents, and a high school group of parents, and also adapt the lessons so that it would be a little bit more plug and play to make it appropriate if you were trying to make it specific to a specific school or to a specific school district. The reason for this is because, at least for me, going up to La Costa, which is in Half Moon Bay, south of San Francisco, I think we're really thinking that this could be a really important tool for addressing the learning gap in our students. And so, but I have experience with elementary schools and I have experience with middle schools as well as adult education. It'd be nice to have someone who has some experience with high schools and working with high school parents. And it would, so there's a lot of moving pieces in this to dial it in such that we could present it on the civics exchange and really have it be something that would be a lot more direct and simple for someone to take and then implement. If you were to want to put together a class specifically designed for supporting these populations of parents in your schools or in your districts. I think much like we had done before, if you could send me an email, send Lori an email, and just let us know if you're interested, and we are going to work. I'm sorry, I have a ton of noise here. So, and what we'd hope to do over the next couple of months is really build out a lot of these civics, not just so that they just work for our agencies, but they could be really generalized for anyone who is interested in really trying to do the K-12 success program, but on steroids, really going after supporting those students. Lori?
Does anybody have any questions for Drew? I mean, we could certainly, if people want to get together, we could do that as a work group like we did yesterday for the entrepreneurship. If you'd like to be a part of that, feel free to say so in the chat and put your email address and we'll contact you and set up a meeting. Perhaps, Drew, you know, people need a little bit more content to think about. Did you had worked up sort of a sheet of general information? Maybe that's something that could be shared.
Yeah, for sure. I could definitely pull that together. I'm sorry, right now I'm in
I
Boston,
understand.
but if anyone's interested or just wants to have, just kind of a broader conversation, um, I think this is definitely sort of a framework idea, although Dina and I have started kind of working through some of these civics in the way that we would imagine that it would work best. But we do really feel like it would be really powerful to have someone with some high school experience, because these are the different levels of parents that we'd really want to go after and really support.
Sure. And is there anyone on the meeting right now that has participated in a K through 12 success program to support, or program to support parents in the education of their children?
And if you haven't, that's fine too, because we haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, we've done some things, but it's not something that we felt like was a robust and rigorous program. And I think that's the difference. We really want this to be deep, meaningful, and usable and easily generalized.
Great. So we just wanted to introduce it today, and we can bring it back up at our August 24th meeting. And perhaps if we have an outline at that time or whatever, that people can see a little bit more what specifically that we're talking about. So we just wanted to introduce it today. Does anybody have any questions for Drew or for me about this?
Lori, this is Nieves from Napa Valley Adult Education. We do have a part-time Ask 12 teacher, but the focus of the classes or workshops that he offers are more related to technology in the K-12 schools, especially with the pandemic. He's been doing a lot of one-on-one or small group work with groups of parents who are not familiar with the platforms being used by the district. So that's sort of the Ask 12 thing that's been happening at Adult Ed. It's very tech focused.
And that would be great. We definitely want that to be one of the components that we're looking to bring in. I think the thing that I personally would like to see more of would be as well is empowering our parents to participate in school site councils, empowering our parents to understand what the political structures are so that they can advocate for themselves and for their communities with their school boards. Things, like really build it out. So I think if you could join us, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, even having an email address so that parents get these notifications. I mean, it's tech related, but it's also related to just greater parent engagement. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And maybe as one of the, remember, I'm not sure which meeting it was, but maybe earlier in the year, and I'm blanking, but LA Community College District presented that newsletter idea from, and maybe something like that parents could access and have information on, maybe that is something that would help students, parents, even if they didn't come to classes, et cetera. That might be something that could be added. And I know it's helping LA Community College District a lot access their students.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what some of the concerns are in a lot of those civics, I mean, I think with the existing civics, we can definitely do it, but I think it just needs to be a little more crafted so that it just easily lends itself to this K-12 success.
Sure. We do have 13, I think it's 13, 14, and 15, right? Co-ops, civic objectives that relate to accessing schools, but and those haven't been updated for a long time. So we would appreciate, updating them, expanding them, making them more relevant to today.
For sure.